Dark and Darker has become the talk of the internet, first for its highly popular alpha playtest that attracted almost 2 million players, and now for the controversial copyright claim from Nexon, a massive South Korean gaming publisher. Quick rundown, the developers behind Dark and Darker, Iron Mace, used to work for Nexon on a similar game. Nexon seemingly weren't interested in the direction of this project and pivoted into a shooter rather than a melee game, so half of the team left to go make Dark and Darker by themselves, operating for months out the back of a jiu-jitsu gym. Whilst Dark and Darker was on its parabolic rise, there were lawsuits and police raids taking place in the background, the outcome of the latter seemingly proving the innocence of Iron Mace regarding Nexon's claims of stolen code and assets. Nexon also clings to the concept of stolen trade secrets, alleging that Dark and Darker's creation could only be the result of copying their project, because according to Nexon, no other game had the same concept and genre. The less astute viewers might not have realised by now that the gameplay on screen isn't actually Dark and Darker. It's a chivalry mod called Random Dungeon that released 8 years ago. Others have jokingly drawn similarities between Dark and Darker and other games to demonstrate that the concepts of both projects were never original, but this mod utterly shatters Nexon's claims right down to the nature of the modes PvPvE, that is, player versus player with NPC monsters as well. The similarities are overwhelming. It was the first thing I noted in my thoughts on Dark and Darker video, and I would bet money the devs have played this mod. Stylistically, it's a match. Players travel through dimly lit rooms and claustrophobic corridors, killing monsters and looting valuables. A lot of the assets are almost identical, but this could indeed be a result of generic medieval fantasy elements. What can't be a coincidence is the combat, which takes Chivalry's real-time strikes, a melee combat mechanic designed by Tom Banner, who have never uttered a word regarding copyright. There's also a shop where you can spend your gold, and towards the end of a match, all the players are forced into a small arena. You can even play as a skeleton. Now, I have no idea what the Korean courts will decide. Hopefully Iron Mace will win, and this whole fiasco will only serve to catapult Dark and Darker further into cultural relevancy and mainstream success. But perhaps the court will rule that it is illegal for former employees to use an idea which was previously being utilised at their former company in a new startup. I believe it was Plato who said that ideas are the true reality that underlie our world, and as a professional ideas guy, I can't help but agree. One would hope that the courts would serve to protect ideas from being held hostage by billion-dollar megacorporations who are too scared to harness them, but then again, I'm not a lawyer.